Hey, welcome back. Listen, I know I haven't done a cooking video in a while. I was doing them at work and that just got hectic, so I decided we'll just do it at the house. So here we are in the house. I wanted to do something for the holiday season, something that you can use for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. Potlucks are big this time of year, and it's soup season, right? It's sweater weather. So I'm gonna do a butternut squash. It's one of my favorite soups, and I don't like buying it. Let's make it. It's way cheaper, easier, and way more delicious. So some of the ingredients we're gonna get, it's real simple, right? We need an onion. We need some garlic. We need some fresh ginger. That's what the ginger looks like. Okay, we've got the butternut squash itself. We're gonna use some vegetable broth. You can make that yourself, or you can use some of the organic vegetable broth. I've got sage, thyme, and a little bit of rosemary fresh out of the garden. I've got my crusty bread here for dippings. Afterwards, we're gonna also need olive oil, salt and pepper, and that's about it. I've got my little zippy blender here. We're gonna do it in, it calls for a Dutch oven, but I'm not gonna put my zip blender in a Dutch oven because that'd tear up the finish. So we're just gonna do it in a regular pot. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and prep my almonds. I'm gonna crush some almonds in a bag, whack it with a wine bottle or whatever, and then fry up some bacon. So we have some bacon bits to go on top. You can also use some Parmesan cheese as a garnish, and some fresh parsley if you're into that sort of thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that prepped, then I'm gonna have you back and I'm gonna show you how to shave and cut this butternut squash, because that's the most dangerous part and the hardest part of the whole thing. Otherwise, just chop everything up. You're gonna need the whole onion. You're gonna need about a tablespoon of the sage, the fresh sage. You're gonna need half a tablespoon of the fresh rosemary and 1 teaspoon of the grated fresh ginger. So like I said, it's pretty simple. I'll show you what it all looks like once we get everything prepped up, chopped up, and ready to go in the pot. And we'll be back and we'll put it all together for you. Cool? I like that bit. All right, so first of all, we didn't need the thyme after all, so I'm saving you money there. So forget the thyme. All you need is your sage and your rosemary. Don't go out in the dark to get the rosemary from the garden. If your glasses are foggy or whatever, you'll end up with lavender and your wife will jump all over you, so don't do that. So you need sage, rosemary, garlic, onion. We got that prepped already. I was gonna show you the ginger. If you're not familiar with chopping your own ginger, it looks very woody. It's got a thick skin on it. So cut off a pretty decent sized piece and just shave everything, all that woody skin off of it until it looks like this. It's gonna look like a nice little yellowy, meaty part. So that's what you're gonna grind up. I'll do that in a minute. I was gonna show you how to handle your butternut squash. First thing is to wash it. Anything that comes from the store, you wanna go ahead and wash it first, because if you take your peeler and go through it and the skin is dirty, now you're taking the dirt on the peeler and getting into the meat of your vegetable. But anyway, you need a decent peeler. I love this one. This was a Father's Day gift a while back, and it works great. So I don't have to worry about hurting myself doing it because it's dull. So get you a nice sharp peeler. So as you can see, again, I'm peeling away the skin. This has got a very thick skin on it. Go ahead and peel it down until you get that nice yellowy tint of the meat, of the veggie, right? Fruit, veggie, whatever. We don't have to debate that. It does have seeds in it. All right, so I'm getting that away. Then what we're gonna do, just like a pumpkin, we're gonna skin it all, and we're gonna cut the ends off, and we're gonna scoop out the seeds. The seeds are down here in the fat end of the gourd. Just scoop it out. I got my little ice cream scoop here. Pretty simple, but a quick way I was going to show you how to do this. These things can be really tough. You want a nice heavy sharp knife, and instead of like trying to muscle through it, get your knife to bite into it and then roll the fruit back and forth. And sure enough, you don't have to put that much pressure into it, and it pops right off. Boom. We'll tap there, roll the fruit back and forth. Boom, done. See, that's where the seeds are. We'll cut this. I'm gonna finish skinning this, cut it in half, get the seeds out, and then cube it up. 1-inch cubes, whatever, just like you would for potato fries. And then we'll go ahead and get this thing in the pot. I got my bacon done up, get my bread heated up, and we're almost there. So be back in a minute. I'll show you how to finish this thing up. Okay, we're gonna start out with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. We're gonna heat that up and start to soften up the onion. But I did wanna mention, we're using fresh herbs. If you only have dried, which happens all the time, just remember whatever the measurement of the fresh herb is, use less of the dried. The dried is gonna be more like a concentrated flavor. By all means, if you can get fresh, use fresh garlic, use fresh ginger, use fresh sage, whatever. But if something happens, you can't get a hold of it. If you use substitute dried for it, your regular bottled spices, use less. Somewhere in the neighborhood of half, depending on the spice. But you don't want to equal. Don't use a tablespoon of dried sage if it calls for a tablespoon of fresh sage. Just word to the wise. A little bit of onion, sprinkle of salt, a couple of grinds of fresh pepper. We'll soften that up, takes a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's been like 5 minutes. We got these onions softened up. Now we're gonna add the squash. We're gonna do it for like maybe 10 minutes to get that squash softened up. It is a very thick, hearty vegetable, so it is going to take a little while. And then we're going to add the herbs. You got the sage, you got your rosemary, garlic, and ginger. Of course, at the end, you're going to add more salt and pepper to taste. We'll let that go for about 10 minutes. Let that kind of brown up. And then we're gonna add the stock, and then after we put the stock in, it's gonna be about 30 minutes. This should soften everything up to where we can blend it, and then you pretty much got a soup. So it doesn't take long, about 45 minutes. It's taking me longer so that I could do everything so you could see it, but if you did this in real time, in less than an hour, you're gonna have a soup. You can freeze it, it reheats well. Like I said, if you got a potluck, you can make this ahead of time, leave it in the refrigerator, take it with you, and put it in a pot on the stove and reheat it. You can do it in a crock pot, whatever. It's really good. You're gonna wanna dip everything in it. Trust me, it ain't gonna be just the bread tips. It's real good. I'll show you what it looks like. Fortunately, you can't taste it, but if you make it yourself, then you will, and I'll make you a believer. Here we go. All right, so take a look at the what the squash looks like. Once it's started to soften, it gets all fuzzy around the edges. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. We're gonna add the herbs and stuff. We got your garlic, your ginger,
fuzzy,
rosemary. It's fuzzy. It does. It softens up around the edges.
Yes.
Sage. Got that in there. We're going to stir this for like a minute, okay? What it's going to do is it's going to become fragrant, right? It's going to put off its aroma. So you don't want to burn it. Garlic is notorious for burning and turning bitter. So once you put it in to some heat like this, keep it moving around. It doesn't take very long. You don't want to leave the pot, and you'll start to smell it. And once you smell it, that's putting off its aroma. That means it's ready to go to the next step, which the next step is we're going to add the broth, okay? So we'll put the herbs in there. We don't want to singe them or burn them. Like I said, most of that stuff will turn very, very bitter.
Can you maybe stir it with your other hand? Because you have the biggest, it looks like
my
you have
arm?
Like,
it's my tree trunk
like
in there.
A claw. Or
A
something.
claw?
A claw.
A claw?
Yeah. Looks like a claw. Smell it. Yeah.
It smells good. So we're going to add...
There it is again. S'more. There. That's nice. I like that.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
So 3 cups. Start there. And if it's too thick, you can add more broth later to thin it up. So I'd go... You can always add more, but you can't take it away once it's in there. So if you take a look at it now, you can see that most of the squash is still kind of taking up most of the real estate in the pot. We're going to do this for like 30 minutes, right? Simmer, 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 30 minutes, soften. We'll hit it with the zip blender, turn it into soup. If it's still too thick, add more broth, salt and pepper, little Parmesan, little parsley, and we're good to go. You heard the ding and ding, ding, ding. I'm gonna put my crusty bread in there and warm that up. That's it. Simple. All right, so we got it plated up. We're gonna boil up the soup. It's actually a vegan recipe. I didn't want to hit you with that out of the gate, and I messed it up by throwing some pig on it, but I got homemade bacon bits. We chopped up some almonds. I got some fresh parsley in there and a little bit of fresh grated Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna take my little crusty bread, dip it in here. That's pretty good. It's very Thanksgiving. It's very Christmas. It's very soup season. You're gonna love this thing. Like I said, if you want to make it thinner, you can. It's really super simple, and it's way better than I'll put that up against Chef Boyardee any day. So anyway, thanks for joining us, being patient, rocking it out in the home kitchen tonight. I'm gonna put the recipe in the comments. I don't know how many videos are gonna be in the thing, but go to my Facebook page. Trevor, hit that one, and then they should be all in a row, because on the regular feed they could be anywhere. But try it out, and you'll appreciate it. Okay, like and share. Later.